hero that he wanted. It feels like this game especially, it's like more centric around him. Like I think you're completely right there with your analysis. It feels like it's like, okay, I want this hero, and he gets it.
Yeah, he plays the Crux last game. He played the Bloodseeker, which synergized with the Zeus. He played in the safe farming position. He was able to transition this game. He's playing the Huskar. It's pretty darn good against the magic output of Mineski, especially very good against Lesh, pretty good against Clockwork. And he will be the aggressive one. He's going to be protecting the Drow Ranger. So kind of similar to the way that we saw Bloodseeker played last game, I believe. He's going to go tanky, and that should allow MP to do the damage. So look for a similar playstyle in this game. The last pick out of Mineski there was a Winter Wyvern, a hero that does primarily magic damage. Actually, it's all magic damage now, with the exception of the ulti. But Winter's Curse actually pretty good against Huskar, I would say, because Huskar does have pretty serious right clicks with the Burning Spears. If he can Winter's Curse a squishy ally, the Huskar actually could do some pretty serious damage, and Drow as well. And they're all ranged, so except with the exception of the Earthshaker. So I think there's a good chance that they'll be in a clumped up region.
Yeah, and early on we already see that. I mean, Mineski already throwing out the congratulations and stuff like that. Honestly, I know, I mean, we played in the qualifiers as well. We know kind of the pain of knowing you're not going to get to TI. Like, you're hopeful about it, and then all of a sudden you realize, like, there's no chance that we can go. But at the same time, you want to be happy that someone's dreams are being realized, right? Like, MVP, HOT6, a team that's relatively new with the roster swaps and stuff like that, they have to be so satisfied with the type of success they've had. And I think they are. Oh, he's just making it so that the Clockwork can't cog into the side. But I mean, he took so much time.
That cost him like 3 tangos at least, but the important part is that means that Clark is not going to be able to get a fast level 2 or level 3. That's actually pretty significant. I think that's a good trade there if it is a solo. G over here scouting things out. Oh, is he going to body block this? Is this worth it? You know, this is for the first wave. He body blocks it. He's going to be the standard. These trees are not going to work, and he's going to sacrifice himself for the first minute or two, but this should be able, it should allow the creep waves to group up here for Mineski, and that should mean that the initial experience gain for Clock is satisfied, and that's the important part. We'll see if it goes to the right. Doesn't look like any of the creeps are moving in, and G's trying to force it through. It doesn't work, so the range creep does get through. The other creeps are delayed, but this should be okay for Clockwork. Not perfectly ideal, but he should gain some experience here.
Yeah, and the lane will eventually push out, but I think that's an okay dual lane. Winter Wyvern and the Clockwork, it's pretty defensive and you can't really do much. And I like this decision, especially at top. You decide to put the Storm Spirit against the Broodmother because, like you said, the Leshrac early, you can't survive. Whereas the Storm Spirit, I mean, they picked our heroes, Kevin. They picked Clockwork and they picked Clock and Storm. I mean, Storm's got like 5 armor. You've got the Remnant, which is one of the most efficient trait spells in the game, especially against melee heroes. Like, this is a pretty okay matchup for Storm. As long as you have a Sentry Ward. Like, once you have a Sentry, you're perfect.
Oh, he's going for the D-Ward. This is the one way to play Brood. You put the Sentry in the trees. That way your opponent can't get you. The Clockwork almost dying here. Very close. He hasn't gone for the D-Ward just yet. Is he going to find Sent? He does. What is up with that?
I can't believe that actually spots that.
Did he just know there's a Sentry down or something? That was very peculiar. I guess he's checking for the Brood and instead he finds Sentry. That's really lucky, I feel. There's no way he predicted that. Another Sentry put down. There's the Brood showing, and Brood's playing very safe. I feel like he should have tried harder to get last hits in the first wave. Like, he just sat in trees and sapped experience. I feel like that wasn't the right move.
I kind of agree. I feel like there can be a case made for what he just did, because if he manages to get that Sentry down, I feel like the lane becomes so much easier for him, right?
Yeah.
Because then he only has to contend with 1 Sentry, and it's really obvious where it's placed, right? And then he kind of just has to play on the left side, and it makes it really difficult for him to die. But I sort of agree at the same time, because it didn't pay out, that he kind of gets screwed.
At the very least, he could have grabbed maybe 1 last hit. Obviously, Storm has much higher base damage than Brood does at level 1. Plus, I guess there's a Drower on his team, so it doesn't do anything for him. But there was no supports there. Maybe he just feared the supports being there. But with the Ancient Apparition on the bot lane, at most it was a Storm and a Disruptor. I don't think he was going to die there. I think he should have played that a little bit more aggressive. On the safe lane, Frev went for the Blades of Attack on Huskar. That's very obviously going to be a fast Armlet Rush. It's the item you need. It costs like 2,400 gold and gives you 60 damage. It synergizes perfectly with that hero, and it is the item to rush on that lane.
On a side note, if I remember correctly, I think Babo said MP speaks English fluently, right?
I'm pretty sure he speaks English very well. He just never spoke to us because I think he was shy or something.
All Koreans, man. They're so kawaii.
But a lot of the Korean players can type at least fluently. You have no exactly what they mean. Frev in a bit of trouble here. He's very, very low, but the Winter Wyvern, no more damage. The Splinter Shot not going to be able to catch him, and that should be a dead Clockwork. First blood happens. Now chasing after Winter Wyvern, and I think they're a bit low on mana. I don't know if they're going to be able to grab this one. Unless he has a Mango. There is a Mango. They could Fissure. There it is. There's a Mango. 1 second. Fissure lands. Gets the stun. Great Fissure block from Drax. The second stun misses, but they might still be able to get him. Keen's going to chase. He does have a Clarity Potion. He's going to go for the right clicks. They're guaranteeing this kill for sure. I don't think he can get to a neutrals at this point. He's got 7 seconds for Arctic Burn. This could be it. He just has to juke towards the high tower. There's one right click. Looking for one. He should go left, but the tower hits. That guarantees his death. A bit of a mistake there. If he just didn't go down that bit, he could have flown over, sacrificed themselves on neutrals, and that would have gained a lot less gold. Would have wasted 2 supports' time, actually. So, slight misplay there by the Winter Wyvern.
Yeah, and like you said, if he hadn't gone down for that, he's probably okay, and that would have been a sick play because you pull both supports over and make things a little bit more difficult for the Huskar, who got quite low. And as a result, though, that does pay off pretty heavily for MVP HOT6, I feel. I keep wanting to say Phoenix because I played against Phoenix so much.
MVP Phoenix, it just rolls off the tongue. Jules actually pressuring in this 1v1 matchup. I've seen a lot of Lesh Darks. A lot of Lesh Draw Ranger, and it's a very trade-heavy matchup, the way that most people have been playing it, but he's playing a little bit aggressive. He definitely can kill the Drow. The Drow killing him is less likely, so I think it's okay to go for those pressures once in a while. If he landed that stun, maybe a kill.
Oh yeah, definitely, because the Lightning Storm cooldown is so low. I think the Drow also didn't get a single level of the Frost Arrows, if I looked correctly. Yeah, he decides to go for the standard build right now, which is the max aura, 1 level of Gust into the stats. And so that makes it a little bit difficult, if not impossible, for the Drow to set up for a kill on him. At the same time, I think the Leshrac is meant to play up in this matchup, because once the Drow hits level 6, she hits like a tank. Like, you have to try to kill her early on, I feel, to kind of just set the tempo.
So MP playing it safe. 18 CS for him, 24 on the Leshrac. Lesh doing very well. Level 6 on the Lesh now, so slight level advantage there. Huskar about half HP on the safe lane, which is pretty much the sweet spot for him, considering he's against mostly magic stuff. His HP is low, he has more magic resistance, and attacks faster. So definitely good for him. Level 6 for Storm now. I don't really see him killing the Brood anytime soon here, but I feel like Sunbee's definitely losing this matchup. He's only got 5 last hits here, which I feel is slightly low considering it's primarily been a solo. There's the slow actually coming out, and will they grab the kill? There's the static field actually. That's the new one with the Immortal. That's why it looks different. He does end up dying though. That was MP saving up all those wand sticks from the early game, and a kill on the bot lane as well. That's some blood, some robot blood. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually a dude in a robot suit. Did you know that?
Oh really? I actually...
Yes. I've heard that. I didn't read the lore, but...
He says like mechanical man or something, right?
I think he's just cosplaying, that's all.
He's really into it.
Yep. They actually find Jax on the side here, but he's taking a bunch of birds. Look at this. This is going to be 5 spears, and that's a dead hero no matter what he can do. You really need a blade mail when you're playing against Huskar, and a TP as well that should guarantee the tower. No, the tower's absolutely full, so nothing quite yet. He's almost got his armlet possibly flying out here, and that's when he gets so dangerous. Going for the mostly Berserker's blood. Man, this is such a Huskar game. Look at all the damage. It's actually... almost all magic. Every single hero on Mineski does primarily magic. Storm's right clicks are physical, but that's mostly it.
The thing that messes with you as well when you play against heroes like Huskar is that you have kind of like this internal rhythm of like how much damage you're going to be able to do at certain ranges, right? And that kind of applies to all heroes. But against a hero like Huskar with Armlet, you never really understand how much damage it's going to take, right? Like he'll have 100 HP and you'll think to yourself, okay, we just get like 1 right click and 1 spell and he's dead. And it just kind of messes with you, I feel.
And then he turns Armlet on, he has 400 HP again, and you're like, huh, maybe I'll get him this time. Nope. And sometimes that turns into 5 situations of Armlet toggling and you just kind of die. So it's really scary for sure.
Yeah.
I like what Sunbee's doing here, cutting the creep field. He does get dusted though. There's the ball forward. Does he have a pull? He's actually almost out of mana already. I don't know if they're going to be able to get him here. He actually walks in the Disruptor, and the Soul Ring was... okay, it's the right play. He gets the kill. I wonder if he could have killed them without Soul Ringing there, but...
The key though, for one. Right there is the fact that the Disruptor dies again, and he's so under-leveled. Because if you take a look at the Disruptor, I think he's like level 4 or something like that. Oh, he's actually level 3 right now, and... the thing about heroes like Disruptor that I've said every single time, like I think I've cast it, I brought it up, is that that hero doesn't get better like the worse your early game starts, right? It's like it doesn't deal any sort of damage. And Keen?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He doesn't deal any sort of damage. And the thing about heroes like Disruptor that I've said every single time, like I think I've cast it, I brought it up, is that that hero doesn't get better like the worse your early game starts, right? It's like it doesn't deal any sort of damage. And
He didn't see him on the fissure, and I think he just assumed that
Yeah, he went down.
couldn't have been on the other side, when in reality he just didn't explore the cave quite far enough. He might have been able to spot him if he knew exactly where he was, so just a very, very slight knowledge mistake by him. They're going on mid, MP's going to get blown up. Drow is not a hero you want to play versus Storm. There's a stun, fissure stopping them, he throwing the next stun, not going to work. So the ball does get him away, and no ulti from Forev. Oh, he hasn't skilled his ultimate yet there. That would have been a Leshrac kill if he did. I don't know if I agree with that, skipping the ultimate part, but I guess against a Clockwork diving tier 1, it's a little scary, so... What do you think?
I don't know. I'm trying to go over it in my head to see which one I like, and I think I would prefer him to get at least a level. I can kind of understand why he didn't, because he was probably afraid that if he didn't have at least 3 levels of the Berserker's Blood, like he'd get hit by 1 spell and die if he was messing up his armlet toggle. But I feel like the value point of the ultimate, especially if you have the armlet this early on and with lifesteal, it's worth it to at least skill. Because he should have been able to get the kill on the Leshrac, right? And that would have been fine. Like being able to trade for that and get it onto your carry, you would have been okay with that, especially since the Storm had to rotate over.
Very unusual pickup there for the Leshrac. He went for our drums first. What is up with that? I guess that you can dive the Drow Ranger easier. Your team gets right click. I guess it kind of in a way compensates for your opponent's advantage with the Drow aura, but not. Usually we just see the Bloodstone Rush, and I guess the Bloodstone Rush isn't gonna work against Huskar. I would say extra HP doesn't do that much against the hero because he can just burning spear you till you die. But maybe the drum helps him run away. I'm not sure. What do you think?
For me personally, at top. I mean, he's running away right now, and his
the one hero
gonna
with
end.
Okay, that's good.
Just continued, and that's so many. That's like the second kill solo I think that Sunbee's been able to get, and right now the Storm has to rotate to be able to make stuff happen around the map. But this should mean this top tower goes down in short order. I'm not sure.
On the right. He might go in here. MP's pretty close. He's got to be a little worried. There's the lightning. Fissure's going to buy him a second. Gust works, but only 3 seconds and no chase with that, so he's going to walk away. And now Jarek's maybe, or Keen, sorry, a little bit too far forward, getting really low. He wants to go for it. They don't have any stuns. They use Fissure. They use Silence. He stops one right click, does get the kill, but I don't think that's worth it.
Yeah, and if Forev actually manages to get this kill as well, it definitely won't be worth it. And I mean, after that, it's 100% hot, but... Sorry, I just lost... Oh, you were talking about the drums, right? On the Leshrac?
Yeah, drums on Leshrac.
I think I would prefer him to still get the Bloodstone. Because I feel like he can still kill pretty much every other hero in the game, right? And if your Clockwork player just gets something like a Blade Mill and plays Suicidal and just tries to keep the Huskar out of fights, I feel, then you pretty much accomplish your goal, right? Because then you can do something like Winter's Curse and everyone beats on him at once and he can't armlet toggle or anything, but... I still feel like getting... Because you need stats, right? And the drums don't really help you much more than a point booster overall would, I feel.
And Leshrac is a scaling carry, basically, in a lot of cases. If you don't... Like, all the drum provides him over a Bloodstone, really, is the attack speed and the movement speed, which is a very small point. Like, and you get less damage, I guess, but the damage is done by having mana pool. Like, he's a hero that leverages mana pool and stats for damage, so I think the drum really isn't... He's not a natural right clicker. If your hero has some right click components, I think drum's okay. I think the drum is the wrong choice here, to be honest.
Yeah, so the Huskar is actually going to pick up Tranquil Boots.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
He's got Tranquil Boots.
So this makes his HP go a little bit farther. A bit different than the other Huskars we've seen. We've been seeing Guardian Greaves on Huskar. It's a newer way to play Huskar, because if your HP gets very low, you get a bonus armor kind of a thing going on. A lot of bonus armor at low HP, which is where Huskar usually is. Instead, Forev here opts for the Tranquil Boots, which gives him 4 armor. The Guardian Greaves are kind of weird because you have to invest in a 900. Oh, jump into the high ground, and he TBs immediately. He realized his mistake instantly. He's like, oh god, he can see me. And the dive comes through. That's an easy kill. So pretty big mistake there by Lush. He goes down, and now the tier 1 gets pressured.
Yeah, the issue right now for Mineski that they're running into is that this top tower is also being pressured pretty heavily. This top lane, if you notice, like if they manage to get the stack on top of that, I feel like this is the comeback stack. And in the mid lane as well, I mean, they're just getting kills left and right, and I really didn't expect the Storm to die. And Drex is looking for the Echo Slam, but doesn't manage to be able to get it. And Sunbee with another solo kill.
So Jarex gets pulled back. Huskar almost looks like he's dying. Nope, just an armlet toggle.
Standard stuff. That rocket actually did like 2 damage to him.
It's got really high magic resistance right now. It's the armlet really working out nicely. Slight buffs to Huskar recently, but nothing too major. And will they finish the tower? It's so scary to fight against him. Even with such low HP, you guys have to realize that he takes no magic damage essentially. He gets glimpsed back barely, trying to catch him with the field, but they don't get him. The Gust as well, and that's a dead Storm Spirit. That Fissure Gust was so good. 2 skill points essentially, and that's dead heroes because they've got the damage come from Forev. So
Forev looks so tasty right now, but they just can't kill him. And he's been doing this all game, right? Like he's been sticking in lane with like 14 HP and just kind of baiting them. And that Storm Spirit goes in assuming he's like, okay, I'll get 1 right click off on him and he'll die. But you've got the backup behind you. Forev has a ton of farm right now, and it feels like they're just getting a little bit out mind gamed here. Is like, oh, look at me, like come kill me, and then he turns it around, and all of a sudden Sunbeam manages to push out that top tier 2 tower at the same time. And I mean, you're just losing so much map control to a Brood who hasn't had to enter fights, is second in net worth, and has been able to pick up solo kills. And against the type of lineup that MVP have, I feel like if your early game doesn't go well for Mineski, things just get worse and worse. Because the Winter Wyvern, it feels like it falls off a little if it doesn't have levels. And I mean, you're a Disruptor player. Like you know what it feels like when you're behind with Disruptor.
I would not want to be Disruptor in this game against Huskar. There's actually nothing he can do against him. At most, he can stop him from casting Burning Spheres or Ultimate, but that's it. There's virtually nothing.
Oh, there's so many Broodlings on at once.
They do stack up a little bit. Some big slows on Jules. Oh my gosh. You do not want to let your Leshrac get solo killed by a Brood. But there's nothing really he could do about that. I mean, he's really farmed level 11 on Brood. He hit him quite hard. He had a ton of spiders. At the very least, what he should have done was instantly turn on his ulti. That forces the spiders to not stack up on collision size, and then they would have done less DPS overall. He did have a solution there, but didn't quite do it. I don't think it was going to keep him alive, but it would have reduced the DPS at least. Fissure now on the Storm Spirit. TP canceled. Oh, I see. He gets interrupted with the hook shot, and that could be a dead Clockwork.
So many missed chances.
And good armor here. Storm comes in, goes on the Lina. Good choice. Winter's Curse as well on Drow. He's cleaning things up. Big Echo Slam. And HOT6 is just running over Mineski here. And now look at the damage on the Disruptor. He'll have a Fissure, right? Storm tries to go to the high ground. Hitting for about 150. Nope, not quite. This is going to be the slow chase. I think he's dead.
Yeah, he just gave up there on life. He's like, okay, I'm completely dead. There's no point. The Huskar's coming in from the side as well. And at top, I mean, Jules manages to kill Sunbee, so that is kind of a glimmer of hope right now for them because that was a streak. But this Storm Spirit has to be so careful. He's almost entirely out of mana. But he doesn't have the mana for it. Do they know about... Yeah, alright, he's in Ward Vision as well.
So I think the best thing that MVP did right there was probably played around. They didn't reveal the fact that they had a ward there.
Yeah.
They didn't change their movement patterns to say like, oh, I'm out of position because now there's a Storm behind me. They played standard. They pretended like they didn't have vision. So while Storm did something greedy there, it also relied on MVP to play really stable and not choke and show that they had vision. So it's still something nice they did. More their nice play in my opinion, more than a greedy Storm.
Yeah, because they probably assumed that the Storm would just go to the left and they'd have no chance to kill him. So they're like, okay, why reveal our ward on top of that, right? But then the Storm manages to go up there and then it's a free opportunity for them. And again, MVP just seems to kind of pick these snowball lineups, Kevin, where they get going early, their lanes kind of do okay, and then they just kind of turn that into a lot of towers early on, and it seems to be fitting the patch so far.
And Helvin's Halberd now picked up on Huskar. He's going to be going in on the Disruptor. Disruptor can't do anything, already used the Lynch as well. Kinetic Field comes out, but Storm can't find us. I don't think there's a sense. Here comes the stun. This could be enough. The right clicks and the ulti from Clockwork. The chain stun is there, but he's got full HP. He's got a Halberd, 25% miss chance. Can they win the fight here? Magic damage to get him low, but at this point, his survivability is high. Winter's Curse comes through. He's right-clicking. Armor toggle. Any second, he goes back up, but he does get picked off finally. Decent for Mineski, losing the Storm Spirit for the Huskar and the Aegis. Now the chase on MP. If they can grab him in this kill, they could score some victory here, but MP getting low, no mana left on Jules. There's the lightning, and G any second will have a spell. Here comes the Fissure in 1 second. Can they turn this thing around? There's the Mask of Madness being used, looking for the double Fissure if they can. Does he want to catch anybody? He only stuns the Leshrac. Not quite what they wanted out of Jerix, but the enemy team runs. There's a stun from Heen getting out the Static Storm as well. Here's the nuke, the ulti as well. The support is killing the core. Great Glimmer Cape usage there. I assume that is from the Leshrac. Actually, a really nice Huskar counter if you think about it. MP gonna get killed by a rocket. and a game of kiting that eventually leads with Mineski coming out on top, I think.
Yeah, they're honestly really satisfied with that trade because they were able to get the Huskar and the Drow Ranger there. And so, a little bit of... Okay, he's just going to get... I mean, they're going to be really happy with that trade overall, though, because things weren't going their way in this 3K in terms of a gold change.
Winter Wyvern happy. But that should be a Blade Mail pickup on Clockwork, I assume, because he's got 1,500 gold out of it. He goes for a Force? I don't like that.
I think he just gets run down anyways for the most part.
But that's the point of the Blade Mail. The damage you take is reflected as pure, and that's what you need to counter a Huskar. So
Yeah.
if Huskar ulties you, mid-air you press Blade Mail, you reflect at least 500 pure damage. That's a big nuke. Even if you die afterwards, I think the Blade Mail is good. And if he stacks like 7 Flame Spirits on, or Flame Spears, you turn Blade Mail on, you reflect a good couple hundred pure damage. That's the solution to killing Huskar, I think. But with the Force, he can save his allies. After Huskar dunks somebody, you force them away. So it's kind of like a Huskar solution for him and his allies, but it doesn't give him offensive. So I don't know. It's a questionable decision. It's either Force or Blade Mail the right choice. We'll see if it pays off this game.
All right, that's a Storm shirt with the drums as well.
Okay.
They're all just getting drums.
Do they all have drums? Triple Bracer and Wyvern. I know they're really far behind, so buying bracers is something that you could argue is necessary, but I don't think the drum on Storm is the right choice.
Yeah, as somebody who plays Storm a lot, I think that the drums, because you don't rely on your move speed whatsoever, because you're going to be balling around during the time that you get the pull and it slows you, right? It's barely going to last, and so I don't think it really has an impact on the hero. But maybe he just decides to go for something in the mid game where he feels that it's necessary.
Gives him attack speed, I guess. They use that Force Step forward on Forev. They're going to use Winter's Curse as well. Static Storm, he's not able to take damage. Apparently, he blows up Leshrac. He took nothing from that fight, and the chase continues, trying to get 2 more, but diving tier 4 is a little scary. They can instead grab the melee barracks. 2 dead heroes on Mineski, balls through. Again, does nothing to the Huskar. This guy is actually taking no damage. What an interesting build. The extra 4 armor on the Tranquil Boots is definitely going to pay off, though. And maybe his mana's a bit low. I would like to see him have treads, I think, instead. He almost goes out. There's the armlet. He tries to heal him up with Cold Embrace, but it's not enough. And that looks like it's going to be the end of the game right there. Honestly, 2 dead heroes. Hookshot's going to miss his long game. That's the support hero tanking damage. Glimpse back, but the Glimmer Cape should keep him invisible. He dives in, looking for the kill. Disruptor dying in 2 hits, Winter Wyvern dying in 4, and everybody in Mineski is dead. That is it for Mineski. They are done. TI Qualifier dream for them is over, unfortunately, but for MVP HOT6, they've got to be really happy. I love their drafting. I loved how they played their games. What do you think about them?
Honestly, the main thing that I'm really happy with is, like I said earlier, they don't seem to subscribe to anybody's type of style. They kind of just play what they feel like is the right way to play, and I think that for a team like that especially, it's a huge confidence boost saying, okay, look at our drafts, they work, our playstyle as well, it seems to work, and Mineski is no pushover. Like, yeah, they lost 2-0, and they lost 2-0 to 5-EVA, but going into that game, if Mineski had been able to win 2-0, like, you would have seen MVP HOT6 go down, and so, and that last game too, I mean, it kind of felt like the spirits of Mineski were a little bit broken, right? Like, in the get-go, they say, you know, good luck further on, and...
It's basically like, we lost.
Yeah, it's like...
That's what that meant.